Hey Cancer, come on in, sit for a spell. We're going to dive into your 2026 predictions. Already when I was just dipping into the Cancer energy, I felt strong Capricorn there, okay? And it was coming through maybe in relation to some areas where you're experiencing some kind of blockage or where you feel like there's some sense of limitation that you're having to navigate here. Now, this could be a Capricorn that's posing some challenges for you. This could also be matters related to the 10th house of Capricorn. So something in relation to your public image or reputation or how you're seen, especially if you're in some kind of line of work where you have great visibility. You may also be dealing with power dynamics and feeling in some way there's situations that are exerting too much force over you or creating too much drag where you want to get some momentum. You may have Capricorn as a north node and you're really trying to figure out, how do I align with this energy? Also, there's just the theme of power dynamics in relationships that might be coming through for you, since Capricorn is your descendant sign. This could be coming in very strongly for you if you are a Capricorn rising, and that would make you a Cancer descendant. Likewise, if Capricorn is your north node, Cancer is that descending energy. So there's something that does need to be really understood around the Cancerian archetype right now in relation to its resonance with its descendant sign, Capricorn, okay? And I think that will speak individually to each of you. But what I wanted to say is I don't feel resistance on your part at all. The energy feels soft, soft. I think there's been harshness that you've dealt with, but I feel your energy is soft. And I don't mean soft as in any kind of sense of weakness. Some people view softness as weakness, and that's not really the truth. There's more a sense of empowerment and strength, true strength that comes from being able to completely give oneself over to a spirit of trust, a spirit of letting go, relinquishing any need to control, and just really open oneself to what wants to come in. And that's the energy I'm picking up from you, Cancer. I also have to bring in the piece that there is the transit of Jupiter going retro in Cancer. That's going to be leading us up to the summer. So you are doing a lot of review at this time. There may be times, spaces where you do find yourself feeling rather nostalgic. This may be nostalgic for the way things used to be. You may be really doing a lot of reflecting around this in relation to just the changes in the world, wishing that you could go back to a more simple time. You might be creating that more sort of simple pleasure, simple enjoyment, simple life for yourself. You might be streamlining things. You might be paring down. You might be cutting off the excess. And I could see this in all arenas, you know, maybe not feeling like you have to have so much luxury, maybe finding luxury in things like, I don't know why I got this, but laying in a field and just sort of letting the sun warm your bones. I mean, depending on where you are in the world, but you know, even on a really cold day, you notice when the sun breaks out that it does bring in the warmth in contrast to the cold. I had an experience like that recently where we've got a lot of snow out here right now, and it was freezing outside, but the sun finally broke through all the cover, and it just still was like this ray of warmth. There's like a ray of warmth that is coming into your life. Maybe it's warming things up after things have felt a little cold, a little shut down. And I like this energy. I also got that you may be celebrating your golden year. Now we've heard of the term golden birthday, and usually the golden birthday is the date that you were born, the day of the month that you were born. When you fall on that same day, So if you were born on the 20th, okay, when you turn 20, that is your golden birthday, right? There's also a thing called a double golden birthday. That's when it is your birth date doubled, okay? So that would be 40. 40 would be a double golden birthday in the example I gave before, if you were born on the 20th, okay? But I got something a little different coming in, and I've never heard of this, but it's just what got channeled through. You may be in your golden year. 2026 may be your golden year. To figure that out, what you would want to do is you'd want to add the month and the date that you were born, leaving out the year, and instead insert the year 2026. Is it the same life path number as the date when you were born? Then you're entering your golden year. So this is a major time of transformation for you. If that's the case, you're going to experience a complete renovation of your life. You may be doing a lot of renovations too. Renovations around the home, renovations in terms of your physical body, your health, maybe even in relation to your image. Just for the Capricorn energy to come in, it is so strongly connected to public image. So there might be something really shifting in the way you're presenting yourself this year. Also the way that you're received, the way you're seen. And it's got a little Midas touch around it, okay? It's a golden year for some of you, okay? And some of you are having a golden birthday or a double golden birthday this year. So there's an interesting message coming in. And I do feel like gold is your power color this year, all right? Gold is your power color. And I think you've earned that color. Gold is very regal, you know? Gold is also very much connected to alchemy, transforming something that was leaden and transforming it to its more refined state. So you're going through a refining process. But I do feel like in the space you're in right now, you're just softened and you're opened and you're not controlling anything. And you're just ready to receive, ready to understand what is my next step. So we're going to open up with your theme, and it was 7:33 on the clock. So yeah, you've already experienced some major closure here. You're preparing for rebirth. And pretty soon there's going to be an action required of you. I do feel like there's a little bit of biding your time. You're still doing some final shedding of layers of energetic attachments, storylines, ways that you thought things were going to be. And you're really opening yourself up to just a complete wide open vista in terms of what's possible for you. So I do feel like there's some remnants here that you're still shedding. There's still more truths that you're revealing to yourself. But I feel like this is a very intimate process. It's a deeply psychologically, psychically integrative process. And this is something that you're really working on your own. This is like path work to me. I feel like this is finding the empowerment in what you learned in the shadow. But there will be a point when it is time to sort of move out of that scorpionic territory. And to me, this is sort of the residual effects of that grand water trine and what it dredged up from the deep to look at. It might have clouded things for a little bit, but I think you're going to feel this refinement coming in where slowly the visibility is going to come into view. And as it does, I feel like that really gets synced up for you with the Aquarius Ring of Fire coming in on the 17th of February. That's go time for most people. It's a really important marker in 2026, a gateway of transformation. I do feel like that's when all of this old energy will just fall away from you. It has something to do with an action that you're going to take that you have great clarity around to bring something to a close. You've processed something, you've completed something, and you feel like you're in a really solid place with that. And it came in with 9:44 on the clock. So yeah, that's 17. It really does line you up with your point of orientation, what your destiny is, really having that calling, receiving it, and knowing the action you need to take, the first step onto the path to set things in motion. It's a very empowering energy for you. It is you stepping into that 8 energy, your power, your strength, your sense of determination. Some of you may be a life path 8, and this is also your golden year, okay? Really interesting energy coming in there. There also could be some action you're taking with a life path 8. Somebody maybe that had a lot of influence over you or hold over you in the past, and you're affecting some kind of change here, but it's a brand new world for you. You're rising up out of the past, and there's going to be a new way forward. Working with the energy of Pluto and Mars there in the lead up, okay? So you're still kind of moving through a little bit of that subterranean territory, but there's gems there, you know? You're gold mining there, you know? There's something you're getting that has a lot of value for the journey ahead. So more on this theme coming in for Cancer spirit. More on this theme. Ooh, interesting. Ooh, look at that. I love how that came out. Did you see how it flipped over? And it was 11:17 on the clock. So much alignment, so much synchronicity. You're really going to see this pick up, and what it's doing, it's aligning you with the orientation of your sun, those first rays that are coming in that want to warm your bones. It's like you've been singing over the bones, and you've been in that space where at times it may have felt a little hollow, but now you're finding a new richness in the emptiness. Like there's some kind of fertile ground there to seed a new dream. And I do think this vision is going to come in for you. You may be doing a lot of journeying work here, because owl medicine really does speak to not only wisdom, but also magic. Whenever you see owl, it means magic is afoot. So there is some kind of alchemy work that you're doing here. And it's peering into the shadowy realm. It's peering into the darkness. And instead of finding fear there, or trauma there, or unresolved pain, or resentment there, or anger there, instead you're finding fertility there. And it's like you're doing that deep dive. It's the same deep dive that Persephone does to integrate different aspects of herself. It's the same deep dive that we hear cross-culturally from many different traditions. There's this story of heading into the underworld to go through this process of really integrating the shadow and finding empowerment through that, empowerment to rise. So I feel like this is really deep psychic healing that you're doing here. Look at that. It's really activating the wheel of fortune. It's also invoking the spirit of the magician. The true work of the magician, which is healer, heal thyself. Everything comes from a point of healing. And when you're working your magic on your path, however you work that, okay? Whether you come from a tradition of, I'm picking up some interesting energy here. It's outside the parameters of the craft. It's outside the parameters of how somebody would traditionally invoke, call in, call forward, create. It's something really that defies borders. And so to me, this feels like it's your own brand of magic. It doesn't really matter what anybody calls it. All you know is it's something that is your birthright. It's just something you were born into. It's a way you've always been naturally gifted, and a way you've always been able to work in harmony with nature. And in fact, you may not like the label. You may not want a label, because labels come with all kinds of baggage, all kinds of attachment. There may have been certain labels that you used to identify with, certain labels that were once cast upon you. And I feel like this has been a big part of your psychic integration and healing here. You're moving into a place of empowerment and an ownership of these gifts that you were born with. And in some cases, you're discovering them for the first time. And I feel like you're getting ready to really bring all this to the surface. But see, I think you're still doing this deep dive, and it's okay. You don't need to rise and shine yet. I do feel like that portal of transformation is up ahead, though, with the Ring of Fire. And you are working in this dreamscape energy. So you may be doing like a lot of journeying work, a lot of meditation work. You could be actively engaged in a deep psychological process. You could be working with someone. It's interesting though, because I feel like if you're working with somebody who is in the field of therapy, it feels like there's something that has more of a metaphysical angle to it. You may be working with a teacher within a certain lineage that you're exploring, a certain lineage of spirituality. And this person is also helping you do a lot of integration on psychological levels, subconscious levels. And to me, that really does evoke more of a spirit of shamanism. So you might be like, I want to go way back, way back before we even had a word called witch, way back before we had a word called Christian, way back before we had any kind of word to define what I am. All I know is the earth speaks to me, the earth moves through me. I know how to hold the earth. I know how to nurture the earth. I know how to pour into the earth. And when I pour into the earth rises up and it fills me, and everything comes right as rain. That's how it's coming through. Everything comes right as rain. And this download has been activating recently. You will find me in the petrichor. I'll link it. And that's related to masculine divinity and the wild nature of the masculine divinity. So you could be a man who is really discovering the empowerment in softening, or you could be a woman who's acted more out of your masculine because you felt like you couldn't really give over and trust another to allow yourself to land in that space of being provided for or protected. And there could be a need to really connect with that masculine energy right now, because most people look at the masculine energy from a spirituality perspective and they view it as a very formidable energy, very strong, very fierce. But they can sort of slap the labels that are associated with what humans define as masculinity. And that runs a real broad spectrum, right? Everybody has their own opinion. But when we're looking through the spiritual lens and we go way back before we had any kind of organized religion, before we had any kind of, windows in the grid that we looked at spirituality through, and it was more a state of animism where there's just an understanding that there's spirit imbued in all things in the earth and everything around me, and I'm part of that, and I connect with that, and I funnel that, and I work with that. If you go way back in those times before we had such defined borders around spirituality, there was this quality of the masculine not only holding that formidable energy, but also being a very loving, sheltering, and soft, gentle provider, creating that space for the feminine, the receptive quality to give over, and when we're looking at it through a hermetic perspective, men have this same yin quality within themselves. So I feel like somebody's really been doing a lot of work around balancing their personal energy, how they hold their energy, how they present their energy. But I feel like there is something here about work with the wild masculine a little bit. The wild masculine. And nothing is more wild, okay, in modern times when it comes to the masculine than a man who knows the strength of being able to be in that vulnerability, knows that it's not a weakness to be in that place of really embodying their ability to nurture and their ability to hold space and their ability to be a provider in that way. So often it's become something that's more about the advance of status, financial growth. This is what's seen as being able to provide, like the material things you hold. And there's a little bit of this that's been lost. And I really feel this is coming strongly through for men. You Cancerian men. You're really embodying this energy in a beautiful way. And it's almost coming through in such a way that it's leading a really good example for others to see what it looks like when a man can express his emotions, when a man is able to express himself in a gentle way, when he's able to hold that space and provide emotional support, okay? You may be playing this role for somebody. It's coming in really strongly. And I feel the converse applies too, where you've been too much in the yin and too much in the feminine. There's that rise to action, because we did see action come in. And that's the thing about the masculine energy, is about providing an avenue for the creative energy of the feminine to work through. So I see there's like, this to me feels like hermetic principles. Somebody's working with hermetic principles quite a bit right now. Alchemy work, and really diving into higher consciousness. Look at that. Look at that. So much is communicating with you, especially as we enter this new lunar cycle that will be kicked off on Sunday with the Capricorn new moon. There's something that you're really having come on board at that time. And I do feel it's like creating all kinds of links in your consciousness. It's a moment where there's some kind of fusion happening there. Maybe where there used to be this sort of like psychic fracturing, there's this fusion happening. It's really beautiful. The more that you can make time for just meditation, rest, receiving, listening, leading up to that time of the Ring of Fire, I think is going to be really beneficial for you. Okay, anything else that wants to come through around this? I mean, this is a pretty gorgeous theme. I do feel like you will experience that rebirth of Venus energy with that Ring of Fire. That's when it's really going to come through for you, and you're going to be ready to rise up out of the ground of your being and the ground of your history and all that you've integrated, and bringing forward with you all the empowerments of the time you spent there learning the lessons of Pluto. And it is coming in with the Wheel of Fortune energy. So with that Ring of Fire, this is going to be the start of a brand new journey for you. The road opens. It's got Rido energy, the rune Rido. And I do feel like this is when you gain a certain kind of momentum. There could be a Sagittarius connected to this. It's a real breakthrough moment for you, okay? And yes, you've absolutely retrieved your magic here. There's Raven hanging out here, so you could be connecting to a Libra. And I also see that you have Froggerock, the answer, and you're taking some decisive action here that's informed by this journey of integration that you've been through. You could have a strong Libra placement. This is also really balancing the polarities too. You see there's like a white owl here, and then we have the raven with the black feathers. And yet there is an indigenous lore around raven once having white feathers, but needed to retrieve the sun to serve the people after it had been stolen, hoarded. The power of the sun had been hoarded, and had to go kind of like a little bit of a tricky route in order to do that. And in doing so was marked. It turned the raven's feathers black. But it's said that when the consciousness awakens in the people again, that the white raven will return. So I'm picking up a little bit of this kind of dichotomous energy here. But to me, this is also balancing as above, so below. It's the balancing of the shadow and the light. It's the retrieving of the magic, and it's finding the middle way through. And it is you coming up to that shore, getting washed ashore, and being transformed as that great bard, where you are ready to head on down the path that is really going to be ignited by that Merlin frequency, okay? So it is a journey of discovery. It is a quest. You will be surprised at what unfolds here. You have the Uranian energy coming in with Mars. So Yeah, that ring of fire is going to be real activation point, a breakthrough for you. It's beautiful. And what do we got here? And it's on the other side of what you're releasing. A little bit of Lokian energy hanging out here. So I do feel like you've been moving through some tricky territory, but to me, it feels like this has been necessary because you're doing a lot of deeply integrative work. And so whenever we're doing integration of the shadow, the trickster is always there. And it's an archetype that we can work with for empowerment. It's also the way that we can kind of lead ourselves on a wild goose chase, but it's not moving awry. It's actually orchestrated by a higher design. It gets us exactly where we need to go, because there are certain side quests we need to take to gain certain empowerments before we're able to really step on the road that leads to our stone of destiny. And there is some treasure you're retrieving here. I do feel like you're getting your key. You're getting your key, and it opens a door to the great unknown with that ring of fire, but where it carries you, there's a lot of empowerment coming in here. And some of you may be really gaining your empowerment through a Lokian path, or what's also known as the vulture's path. You're maybe working with vulture medicine, where there's a lot that you're integrating around the deaths in your life and what's been released, but you're using it as fuel for your fire of transformation, and you're getting ready to rise into your rebirth cycle here. You see that with the bat medicine hanging out here. Bat is about the unknown. Bat is about moving through darkness. Bat is also able to navigate the dark in ways that don't involve sight. So this is you really being tapped in energetically, really being able to sense shifts in the energy. And this is what's directing you right now. You're very much working with your waters as a conduit at this point. And you're just hanging out. You're just hanging out, man, because you know that the transformation is coming. The call will come. You'll know when it's time. And that's when you walk on a brand new path into the unknown. But you gained some kind of key here, and it gave you a treasure. I see that you gained Frog Rock. So I know that you're arriving with the answers you need as you head up to that juncture. Very powerful. It's a real breakthrough moment for you. Your breakthrough year, I hear. Okay, let me do a cover deck to cap this off, and then we'll dive into the particulars here. I love it. See, there's something you've already done. You've already really looked at the details. You know the devil's in the details, so you've really allowed yourself to peer into that area of getting down to the particulars, the little things that maybe you didn't look at before, the details of what you're feeling, your situations, what you've been grappling with. And this has been very healing for you. And there is this awakening moment. I see there's a lot that's activating in Svadhisthana, your sacral chakra. And it's really to open up your creative center. But it's so necessary that this merges with the path of heart. So you'll also feel a lot is being cleared. And I do feel that you have guides that are working with you at this time to help you unravel what's been congested in Anahata, the heart space here. But this alignment will come with that ring of fire. And then it's really going to be like this electrifying moment when you rise up out of sort of that cover. You know, you are that ray. You're that ray that is coming in to warm up the landscape of your own life, but also the life of many others, I feel. And so you could have strong Leo in your chart. You could be a Cancer Leo cusper, but this is very dreamy energy. So the dream space is extremely healing, restorative for you right now, whether you are journeying or working with lucid dreaming or dream journaling, or allowing yourself more space to daydream, or just get really good deep sleep, maybe sleep in. This is just you waiting on the call to rise, okay? It is coming, 29:33 on the clock, 11:33, yes. Justice, balance, communication coming in. It's an activation, and it gets you stepping out of the crossroads. Communication could be coming in from a Gemini, okay? Or a Libra, it's possible. One of the two. Look at that. High Priestess. Yes, so you're rising and shining with the knowledge you've gained through your time of integrating your lessons. High Priestess is your card. Okay, you're very much working with your moon energy right now. There will come time for you to step into your sun. I feel that, you know, where you'll really be externalizing your solar energy. So do look at what your sun sign is, because that's the energy this new cycle is really going to have you representing, stepping into. But I feel currently, and I'm hearing, look at your progressions in your chart. Pull up a progress chart to see if your sun is in a different sign than your natal birth chart, okay? Because it does move and it really affects the energy. So if you do have a progression in your sun and it's now in a different sign than the sign you were born into, work with that energy, okay? Because that's the wave of the future for you. Really interesting messages coming in relation to you. And I feel like this is kind of the energy around Cancer right now, okay? But right now we're looking at your love life. We're looking at your love life. I feel like you've been a little bit more enthralled with sort of exploring yourself, exploring your spirituality, then maybe you've been fixated on love. Maybe there's been challenges in love, and that's why you've been putting more focus there. Maybe you've been focusing more on your connection with spirit and really feeling like supported by your connection with spirit, okay? All right, what's coming in love? And this can be romantic love. It can be love among family, very dear friends. Yeah, I feel like you've just really been healing yourself with the Nine of Wands. There's a lot you've been fending off here, but I also feel that you've been holding your ground because you know it matters. You know it matters. And sometimes you have to do that, man. Sometimes you have to stick through it, even when there's a lot of stuff that's been thrown at you. You may be a little bit guarded when it comes to romantic love. That's what I'm picking up. Or it could be a connection with somebody who was really dear to your heart, but in some way they brought some BS your way, man. They brought something your way that really put you in a position where you had to fend off a lot. And I think you're a bit worn out. Maybe you've been through many cycles with this individual. This could be a family member with the Ten of Pentacles, or it could be somebody that you used to share a home with, or you were married to, or maybe you're currently married to this person and there's just been a lot of clashing of wills. But something has been really difficult to deal with here. Crossing energy, we have the Strength card, okay? So I do feel like there's going to be a critical choice made in this matter by the time you arrive at the first, which is the Leo full moon. Yes, something's ending there. It came in at 33:13 on the clock. That's when something ends. Something comes to a close. Something that has taken everything out of you to navigate. I feel like it's taken all of your strength to stay in a balanced position, fending this off, whatever you've been dealing with here. But this is where finally something is coming to its state of culmination. There's a way through. I do feel like you move into a new cycle at that time. This could be in relation to a Leo, or you could be a Leo, Cancer, Cusper. All right. It also could just be somebody from your past, perhaps, maybe that you've been guarding yourself from. You could have laid down some boundary lines. You needed some space from this person. They were bringing too much your way, too much. It was putting you in a position where you felt like you always had to defend yourself. It could also be you didn't feel safe in this connection. You felt like you couldn't let down your guard. You know, even though the person would say all the right things, you were like, no, 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 no. I see cracks. I see cracks in the facade. Something doesn't feel right. I think that took a lot of courage to really just trust your own intuition on that, okay? And I do feel like there's some form of the past. Yeah, it's coming in with the Magician here. So do expect something from the past to kind of like get a little bit of a second wind, but I feel like you're effectively dealing with it once and for all. It does come in with the Magician, so it could be Gemini energy. Also, it's communication. Somebody may want to revive that old cycle. Now, what do they want to revive? Okay. They could want to renew the connection with you. This could be somebody who wants to reunite with you. They want another shot, you know, let me show you, I've changed, things are different now. It could be that. You could have dealt with this person on that level many times. This wouldn't be your first time of having them come forward, wanting another chance with you. And we know that the Magician always has all aces on the table here. So I do feel like there's offers being made to you. You have opportunities here, but it's up to you if you want to invest in this or not. I do feel like there's a lot of passion here, and this person will want you to move into action. They're not going to really be, I'm not picking up that this person is going to be very patient with you taking your time to feel out if this is right for you or not. And so there's something you need to consider here with the Six of Swords. Do you want to move forward with something that you recently freed yourself from? This could be the work that you've been doing here, this psychic integration work, and maybe this is like the final test, right? This person comes back around. Okay, you've integrated all of these aspects of that lesson you moved through, and now here comes the opportunity again. Are you going to deal with it the same way you did in the past? Are you going to move forward and bring these swords with you? Or are you ready to finally like let this energy go, transform this situation? It could be the two of you are working through this together. You know, maybe you both have been doing this work. Okay, so I want to give a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. Let's get some more details here. What is the nature of what's wanting to be revived here? Because it has renewal energy around it. This could be like a lover or a friend. It's coming in with a Hermit. This is a very magical connection. This could be a spiritual matter, all right? This could be somebody that you considered a teacher in the past. They want to renew the connection, but maybe renew it on a different level. God, Virgo energy coming in here. This could be somebody you used to work with. You may feel like in some way this person manipulated you in the past, or there was something that didn't feel right to you. I'm going to bring it in. If this is somebody that you did work with, if you're on a path where you actively engage in, you know, manifesting with other people, you could have even wondered at times if this person was throwing a little something your way. All right. It's definitely coming in with more occult reference than it would anything else with the Hermit and the Magician here. Okay. This is somebody who works on that level. You may have felt that you dealt with some level of spiritual warfare, okay? And it took a lot of strength to clear that out. You could have felt like somebody didn't respect boundary lines, like somebody was always trying to insert themselves into your energy too. I could see that as well. Just somebody who really wanted to have access to you, maybe even after you laid down some boundaries. Because I feel like you've been in more of this Hermit energy, guided by your own internal light, going your own way, really keeping more to yourself, doing this integrative work. And this is somebody that you may have worked with spiritually before. I'm picking that up very strongly. Or they were some kind of teacher for you, okay? And you felt a little manipulation there, or the energy felt off. It's coming through as the energy felt off, I have to say. The Lovers. This is somebody you were intimate with. Okay, somebody you were intimate with. Strong Gemini energy. Okay, but it could be any of these signs that I brought in, and it doesn't have to be any of those signs either, right? You know, we can all embody the energy at any time, but lets you know how it's being expressed. There's like blockage around this person. You did move away from this energy. See, there you are. This is you sitting in reflection up to that time of the Leo full moon. You may have been doing a lot of work to close out this cycle around a particular character. You know, you used your light to find your way up to the top of Star Mountain so you can make that juncture with that ring of fire, stargate of transformation there. And up until that point of the full moon, before you actually start making the ascent up the mountain, I feel like you're really in this space where you're just reflecting and you're really getting in touch with your own spiritual power here. You're more focused on yourself, absolutely, with the Nine of Pentacles. You're in a very independent energy here. It's interesting to me because I feel the very independent energy. I don't know why I got this, but it's almost like it's got the vibe of like bhakti yoga to me, okay? Where there's almost this like fusion of musing with the divine, that the divine becomes your love, you know? The divine becomes your great love story, and it's more of a mystical experience. And I'm really picking up a lot of energy around this in your space. I feel like you're really growing by leaps and bounds here. You're recovering so many treasures. You're recovering so many empowerments and magics, and there's so much growth here, and everything is just ripening on the vine. Even in middle of the freeze, things are ripening on the vine. It's like the harvest is already here, even though it's not really seen, right? And there's somebody coming here that wants to revive things with you. They missed your energy. That's how it's coming through. And that's going to mean something different to each of you. You may have really felt like this person pulled on your energy a lot. This person drained you a lot. You felt like at times this person turned their energy on you. You had to fend off a lot. This person is dramatic. They bring a lot in tow with them. But they want a reunion here. Do you have the strength to rise above the challenges of the past? Have a new view of this situation? It's up to you. I do feel there's an opportunity for renewal in this situation, but it's about you using your truth to determine if this is right for you. Let me see any more details about this. So this is some kind of revival in your love life. If you've been single for a long time, this is somebody coming in that's going to awaken you to love again. They're going to stir up that magic. Stir up that magic within you where you feel all caught up in the glamour of the first stirrings of love, and there's the butterflies fluttering in the heart space, and you're so excited to see them, hear from them. Ooh, King of Wands. You could be dealing with a Leo. I mean, we got really strong Leo energy coming through for you here. It also could be you. If you're a Cancer, Leo, cusper, you're like, you might be really feeling like a little like full of yourself. Like, yeah, I'm really feeling myself. You're having a little bit of a love affair with yourself. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Not at all. But it does look like there's somebody that wants to revive things here. They feel like you're the one I want to be with. You're the one I want to make magic with. Okay? Interesting. Could be any fire sign energy too. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Also, the descendant signs of those as well. So Sagittarius, Gemini rising, Leo, Aquarius rising, and Aries, Libra rising. Okay, so any of these characters could be factoring in, or you could have these placements too. All right, let's do a cut of the deck. So we got the fire coming in here. Somebody wants to revive things with you, and I think you have something to consider here, right? Because it will take some work to make this garden of love grow. It will require some investment on your part, but the offer will be put forward to start again. And so you have a choice to make here. Well, let's see what's behind this Page of Wands, quintessential Sagittarian card here. Ace of Swords. Okay, so again, Frog Rock comes in for you again. I do feel like there is a harsh truth that must be embraced in order to have a new beginning and successful reinvigoration of this particular connection. Also, to just simply be able to open yourself up to love again if you've been single for a long time and here comes an opportunity to connect. There is a harsh truth you do have to embrace, but if you can embrace this truth and if you can integrate it, I do see there's an opportunity to really come into this position where there's this feeling of deep love, deep respect, you know, and also understanding that this is the space I hold. I don't want to have to deal with other people competing for my role that I play in your life. That's how it's coming through, you know. I don't want people challenging my role that I play in your life. You know, if I'm your lover, if I'm your beloved, if I'm your close companion, your dear friend, I don't want to have to deal with other people fighting to knock me out of that position that I hold in your life. And there should be, maybe that's the way that sort of protective quality is coming through. Like, you need to represent me. You know, if this is going to have any hope of moving forward, you need to represent me. And when this kind of energy is coming my way, you can't just throw me to the wolves. You can't throw me to the wolves, because you have to understand, if you throw me to the wolves, I'm going to come back with them as the leader of the pack. And there will be some accounting to do. It's also this sort of energy where that is sort of the fire test of truth in this connection. Can this person really represent you here? Can this person represent you here? Because, yeah, there's something that took a lot out of you in this connection, right? And I feel like this is really for you to integrate, sit with. I see whatever you decide here, though, you're acting on your truth and you are successful. I mean, you're in a really good place. There's a lot of growth for you with the 9 of Pentacles. We know your 7 goes to the 9 here, okay? So your growth is evident, but it could be that you may open yourself up to this, but probably going to approach it in a much different way than you've approached such situations in the past. I feel like you'll be more in this space where you're not going to lose the ground you've gained with all the work you've done. You will not sacrifice that. So this is one of those things that will kind of reveal itself to you in stages. I feel like you might make an initial investment, though, to see what's possible here, just because I see that growth from the 7 to the 9. And that may be what surprises you. You may have told yourself, never again, okay? It does come as a bit of a tower energy, a little bit of a shocking energy for you. You never thought you'd heal this connection. You never thought you'd be willing to work through something with somebody, okay? And this, it could be lover. There's strong lover vibes, but it certainly could be a reconciliation with a family member or a dear friend, somebody you thought, there's no way. I'm not going to let this back into my space. It is coming in with strong fire energy, though, okay? This person really comes from their fire a lot. They have a lot of charisma. They have a lot of enthusiasm. Like, this person isn't bland. They're a very activating force, but that might be kind of a problem when you're in this real soft space, you know? You might need them to sort of, you know, turn down the heat a little bit, not so much intensity. Let's warm up to this. And it might take time to warm things up. That's kind of what I feel in the love department. But it looks like there's some kind of reconciliation, healing on offer here, okay? Let's look at your money in 2026. What's coming in the area of money, business, finance for Cancer in 2026? What's coming in finances, money, manyan for Cancer in 2026? How their fortunes look in this area, Spirit. Well, you might be entering into some kind of partnership, okay? There could have been some kind of disagreements in a connection, in a friendship, in a connection with a family member, or with a lover that related to sort of a fallout. Maybe you were partnering with somebody on something, working with somebody on something, and there was some kind of disagreement, and that caused things to go south in a business situation. You may have left a certain work position because of some kind of conflict that you had with another there. That energy did come in as a teacher. It could also be like a boss, you know, somebody who brought you in to do some work for their company, and it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. That made things go sour. Okay, you may be working on some kind of business partnership here. There may be somebody you're partnering with, or that's kind of like looking at the basis of the matter. So let's see what's coming in relation to your money and finances and business objectives in 2026 for Cancer. That's coming in here. Wow. I mean, you're partnering with somebody on something. This is a bad. This is some kind of business merger. And look, it looks like there's something you're ironing out with somebody first. Before you can move forward with this, there's something you need to iron out here. It could also be for those of you who are married, or you were in some kind of business partnership where your assets were really intertwined, or if there's some kind of dispute, and this has something to do with family money, something that was promised to you, let's say an inheritance, something on that level. There could be something that needs to be resolved there, okay, before you will get this money that is due you, or before you can move forward on a business project with another here. So let's see what this is. I do think there's the ability to sort of like seal the deal and toast to this, and it's something where you can rise above the challenges of the past. That might be why you need a little bit more time, you know, entering the new year. I feel like there's a lot that is just like little lingering stuff that needs to be cleared out of your energy field, so you'll be ready to embrace some of the opportunities coming your way. Okay, let's see what we got here. I mean, I don't know if you're receptive to this. I really don't. I mean, I think you're holding your ground. Some may say that you're holding your ground stubbornly here, because you know what you deserve. You know what you worked for. You know what was agreed upon. And this is what I feel like it is here. The way I'm getting this is like somebody's making an offer and they're dressing it up like it's so big, and oh, wait until you see what we'll be able to do if you invest in this. And you're like, yeah, I don't know about that. You're offering me 1 cup when I was promised 3. That's kind of how it's coming through. You may feel like somebody owes you too. It's like you're past due on delivering what was already promised in the past. So what's up with that? You may feel like this person always comes toward you with some kind of scheme. They got, oh, this is the next biggest thing, and this is going to turn out. Oh, yeah, you got the devil here. Well, there's Capricorn, okay? And I felt that Capricorn energy coming in really strongly for you. This could have been an arrangement where it was like a contractual arrangement, or something that just really took you for a ride. I feel like this person maybe had other people that they were partnering with too. And I mean, they have been doing really well. It may have earned them a lot of money. They may have gotten a little bit of a, elevated status, but I feel like the people that they were partnering with on this, and it seems like you were pulled into the mix here, were really limited, held back in some way. I do think that this is sort of like a turning of tables moment too, where you've already done your work here, where you lit up what was happening beneath the surface. You understand ways that you put yourself in compromising situations in the past, and you've broken free of that. I don't see you going back there. In fact, I feel like this is the year when you finally see the end result of all that inner work you've done expressing itself in terms of how your business grows, how you're seen by the public, by prospective clients. I feel like you're really getting a solid reputation. You may become the like go-to person for something. And this is after a time when you really did feel held back for a while. So I think you're getting the upper hand here, but it's because of some details you looked at. And I also feel like where you do have an opportunity for a big level up, you may get an opportunity coming your way and it looks like it could be really good. But what I would say with this is make sure you're really going over any contracts very thoroughly, so you don't get yourself into any kind of binding agreements, because you don't want to get yourself back into the same kind of scenario you were in before. You may have felt when you've tried to partner with others on a business level in the past, like you really got taken advantage of and it came back to bite you in the ass and you're like, I don't want to go through that again. You may be more prone to just kind of develop something on your own. I don't think you're really feeling this offer, and you suspect a little manipulation when this first comes your way. But I think that's because you've done the work, you know? And you're stepping into a new potential in regard to your work, how you earn your money, and what's possible for you at this point. So I like this because when the devil comes out upright, it is a clue of gaining self-mastery over lower impulses and things that tripped you up in the past, specifically because you did your work and you lit those things up. And you started to understand, well, the way that I perceive things, especially when I have subconscious motivations running the show, sabotaging influences that I haven't really actualized and, you know, pulled up from the deep and like looked at on the surface and understood the way that that could be holding me back and what's possible for me in terms of my financial success and my business growth. I think there's something here where, you know, you're in a position now that you're really ready to hold a power position that you weren't able to hold before. You've done a lot of integration on this level, you know, and there is a questioning. I mean, I do see it because I feel like the offer is really good that's being put on the table. And you're a little suspicious. You don't want to be totally closed off to something, but you're strongly considering if you invest in this. This looks like a major detail. And perhaps that devil is also coming out to just remind you, like, your reputation is on the line, okay? You're going to have more of a spotlight on you this year. So make sure who you're partnering with is going to be somebody that's actually in alignment with how you want to show up in the world and what you want to represent in terms of your business objectives. Because I do see growth for you. You came in with the 9 of Pentacles earlier. So the finances are looking really good. Devil upright shows that you have the ability to step into self-mastery and actually really hold court in that 10th house and experience a lot of material gain from getting your head in the game and viewing what's possible for you in a new way and getting rid of subconscious aspects that were tying you up. Also, I have to say, the devil is in the details. You have to really pay attention to the details here with your work. That's what will really pay off long term for you. And there's something here as well about really understanding hidden motivations in offers that are being made to you too, okay? All of these things are important. Yeah, be careful, okay? Be careful. Because you could have a really brilliant idea, or you could be already actively developing something here, and somebody wants to come in and just kind of like take advantage of the momentum you've built here. And yeah, this is pretty wild. Okay, we got the moon coming in, so Piscean energy here. This may be something that kind of comes into view with the Capricorn new moon during this lunar cycle leading up to that Leo full moon on the 1st. Okay, this particular juncture that you're about to move through with this upcoming lunar cycle is a major initiation point for you. So do expect to be tested, but I do feel like when this action is taken in your direction, I don't think you're taking this offer because you got your sights set on a different goal. And I do feel like where you step more into your own personal authority rather than feeling like you need to partner with somebody on something, and you actually apply the work, because that's another thing that comes with the devil. You got to work, man. It can't just be about dreaming about something, thinking of what it could be. You know, this is about actually getting to work, because idle hands are the devil's playthings, right? And that's when you can sabotage yourself. So I think there's an offer that you're turning down here, and you're choosing to chart your own course. And where you do the work, where you actually actively work on your goal, and you make up that list of, okay, this is the checklist of everything that I need to do to launch this. These are the contacts I need to make. This is my schedule for, you know, what I need to actively do to really lay a strong foundation to launch this from. You're going to see the rewards. You're going to see the dream that you want to set in motion really come into its full fruition. You got to be aware of sabotaging yourself or connecting to others who could steal your ideas. Okay, got an Ace of Pentacles here. And the true offer is the one that's coming from Spirit, for you to enter through that Stargate Ring of Fire in Aquarius on the 17th of February on your own, trusting your inspiration, trusting your own wisdom to be able to navigate the field you want to enter into and how you want to stake your claim there. I think you're going to be really successful, okay? So do look for this to come in, though. It does look like somebody's coming towards you, and you're questioning their intentions. It's interesting. And it's not just happening in the arena of love. It's happening with your money and your business objectives too. Okay, so look for a lot of these energies coming back around. And this time you get to make the judgment call. And that might be very empowering, because in the past you may have felt like everybody else got to make the executive decisions. And now you're the executive in your life. You're like, you're fired. It's kind of coming through like that. You have a new standard for yourself, you know, as far as who you're going to partner with, who you're going to create with, who you're going to build with. I like it, Cancer. It's a good thing, okay? What's coming in the arena of health for Cancer? What's coming in the arena of health for Cancer? Let's see how your health's doing. What's going on in the arena of health for Cancer? Everything's going to be shaping up for them on that level. All right, let's see. Well, I think you got a clean bill of health. I think there's things that you're already setting in motion. And as long as you stay on that track, I think that you're definitely getting through some challenging times with your health, resolving some long-standing issues. I think you feel like a lot clearer. I think your energy feels a lot clearer. Your energy feels a lot lighter. You feel like you've already moved a lot of, it feels like stagnancy out of your body. I'm picking up just sort of sluggish lymph energy. Maybe just feeling a little bogged down. You know, you might have felt like your energy was a little low, and I feel like you've been taking some measures, and those measures have been very successful. I also feel like a big part of this for you has been striking a balance between energy output and receiving energy. And there was a real imbalance there in the past where you felt like you were always giving your energy, and then eventually it left you very depleted. So it's sort of like looking at what you commit to and what you decline, because you would rather have that time and energy to pour into yourself or something that restores you, right? So you might have in the past been very quick to be the one that everybody could rely on, that they could call on, that you would always say yes, you'd be there to help out, lend a hand, offer up your time, your energy. At any point, you know, you have a very generous nature, a very giving nature. I mean, Cancers are nurturers, you know, and there may have been times where there were too blurred boundaries and people took advantage of that, you know. and you overextended yourself, and then you'd feel out of balance. And then when you felt out of balance, you'd feel a little bit resentful around that, because you're like, well, I'm really depleted and now I need help, and where are you? But I think you're starting to step into more of this position of inner authority and just really understanding, no, I get to decide, you know, what I commit to, where I invest my energy, when I say yes, when I say no. And I see you saying no. I see you saying no more often to things that you don't want to take on. I think you're considering your needs more. And this is really redressing a certain balance. Now, what I would say, this looks like a lot of emotional health coming in here, and I like it. It shows that you've been doing some deep healing work. What I will say, because to me this looks like somebody who's really been working on boundaries and what it means to have healthy boundaries, and how boundaries can actually be a way that allows love to really grow, true love to grow, true understanding. You know, a lot of times people look at boundaries as a negativity, but sometimes it's so essential to have healthy boundaries because it mirrors others the correct balance of giving and receiving. Okay, so there's something here you're really addressing as you start to really put this into play, because I feel like this is a process you've been integrating, but you're really going to start taking it to the next level. You may find that initially there's people that are going to come in that are really going to test your boundaries because they're hungry for your energy. They're used to feeding off your time and energy. So I think you're going to have to hold the line there. And your boundaries absolutely have everything to do with your health, your mental health, your emotional health, the spiritual health of your path, and your ability to really devote yourself to your path of purpose, stay focused on your path of purpose, and absolutely your physical health as well. Because I think it can become very depleting, draining, overtaxing, and this needs to be redressed for sure. So I think this is where you're doing a lot of work. Yeah, stealing your time, stealing your energy. And then after they get what they need, they just kind of leave you hanging there, and you're in the Two of Swords. You feel all blocked off, you know. You need to totally pull your energy back to restore yourself. You're tired of this sort of like big expenditure of energy, and then you have to just cut everything off to fill your cup again. There's a better way to go about this, okay? So I do see you employing a new strategy in terms of what you take on and what you don't. This looks really good. Also with work, okay? You're not going to be put in a work situation where you're just being worked into the freaking ground and you're getting like nothing in return. So work may have been causing a lot of stress for you too. So I feel like there's something you're balancing out in relation to that as well. You're working smarter, not harder. And you're going to work on your terms and what feels right for you. That's right. I like it. Okay, there's your energy coming through very strong. Very strong. I need to make sure that I have time to fill my cup too. It can't always be about spilling out to other people. And you may also have creative projects you want to work on, and your creative energy gets siphoned when you're just working and working and working and working into the ground, and you're not seeing the reciprocation, the yield, the result of you giving all that energy. Okay, so something's really being addressed here. I feel like you're finding a real work-life balance. Yeah, because it's got you too up in your head. There's too much stress here. It's messing with your sleep. You're not getting restorative sleep. You know, too much worry, too much stress. I think you're really needing to find, it's coming through as a new way to work, okay? But not just in relation to your business objectives, but also how to work with others, where it feels like it's a good, even exchange. And I think it's going to really begin by you switching things up, where you preserve time to pour into yourself. You preserve time to focus on the things that fill you up, that inspire you, where you protect this space too. Like something should be just intimate just for you that nobody else should have access to. And so I feel like this is what you're doing to bring balance to your health. It feels like there's a lot more collateral damage that's accrued from a buildup of stress. And the more that you put boundaries in place, the more you strike this balance, the better your health. It's like your energy returns. You don't feel like, you're being taken advantage of anymore. You're not in this anxious space anymore. It's good, okay? Let's do a cut of the deck and see what we got here with your health. Back in your power again. I like it. Really coming from a place of individuation. The Aries energy is so strong right now. I mean, Neptune in Aries is a thing, and it is quite a ride, okay? It brings a lot with it. It brings a lot of ability to activate the dream space through work, through focus, through determination and drive. But there's also, conflict points there too, as there is with any big Mars energy. And I do see that that's what, you're really sorting through. You're affecting new strategies to cut off things that really drain you of your power, drain you of your focus, and that steal your time and energy and then get you kind of like off your own path. And I see you really being in a strong position with this. It looks good. I mean, this is absolutely you integrating the lessons of the 4 elementals, getting yourself in a really strong position where you're ready to take action here. So you're taking charge of your health. And what you're doing here, it's paying off. This looks excellent. This looks really good, okay? Let's have a look at what your big successes and wins are in 2026. And I'm going to pull for the Kipper deck with that. Get a little sip of my coffee here. Okay, big successes and wins. For Cancer in 2026, big successes and wins for Cancer in 2026. I mean, already I think that reinvigoration is going to come in the area of all areas of your life just through striking that balance, and really putting yourself in charge of striking that balance. And stepping into your inner authority to cut off things that are draining you or lead nowhere or serve no purpose or really disrupt your focus, and you spill out all your energy for somebody else, and then you're like, well, here's my dream, and it's still, there on the shelf collecting dust, okay? So this really is time to show up for yourself and go after the things you desire. Pour your energy into you. I mean, I do see a rise in power. It's very strong energy coming in with the Emperor. It looks really good for you, okay? So I feel like things are very different for Cancer this year in 2026. Big success and wins. Well, I do think you got an idea. There's something you've been focusing on here. There's some kind of creative angle to it. There may be something artistic about it. There's something new, innovative out of it. New, innovative, out of it. There's something new, innovative out of it. That's not an accident. I feel like this idea you have, it's something you've been pondering, but there's like an element that's missing. It's something new. It's something innovative. And you're trying to figure out, what is this element that I need to really bring this together? And I do feel like that moment of recognition of what that thing is coming in here. And it's going to wake you up, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, now I know how to move forward on this. Feels like it's some kind of creative project. Okay, let's see what this is. Big successes and wins. So where you're looking for that missing element to really bring a vision together, it looks like something in relation to work, a project. It's got a creative angle to it. You're going to find that missing ingredient, that missing element. Currently, it's out of the picture. And I think this is something you're considering. You know that there's something else needed here. You're just not sure what it is yet. Got mature man coming in here. There may even be a mature man that's coming in to maybe have a look at something here. Family room. Something coming to completion. Mature man. This could be somebody in your family that maybe can provide some kind of financial backing, or this is somebody that you're really close to. You consider them family, soul family. They could be a life path 5. They could be Taurus. This could be somebody who has the resources to invest in your vision. Maybe you're kind of pitching something to this person and you're hoping that they'll give you the backing to move forward with this. They may want to see something mapped out here, okay? So maybe that's why there's sort of considering what's missing here. This person may be looking over something you're proposing. It could be a business proposal. It could be your business plan. And they're saying, it's good, but there's a missing element here. And they may not be telling you what that missing element is. It could be they don't know what that missing element is, but they just feel like before they can really get on board in investing in something, they need to see that missing element come in that really fuses everything together. Okay, let's see what this is. This could be also somebody born in the month of May. So yeah, Taurus energy, Gemini energy was coming in pretty strongly for you. I do feel like this is somebody you're communicating with, and it has everything to do with, do you value my work enough to invest in this or to take this on? It could be even trying to, you know, get something that you create into a certain storefront or something, and you're meeting with the owner of the business. You're pitching your idea to them or something like this, okay? This is your big successes and wins. This could be somebody who's even like kind of acting as a mentor to you. They got a lot of experience in this particular industry. They do see you have something. They do see you have something. And I feel like where you've been experiencing really tight budget, or you feel like you're just not getting momentum here, and you've developed somewhat of a lack consciousness, I believe this person's come here to help you look at things in a new way. Like they feel that there's something that you should be capitalizing on that you don't recognize it for. I'm hearing gold mine. The gold mine it is. And this is coming in with Wheel of Fortune energy. So this mature man is coming into your life. It's got vibes of this person is like investing in you in some way. And they do play a key role in perhaps getting some funding or getting some traction. And they're taking you out of this state of lack. So this is good energy. This could be a Sagittarius. This could be a Capricorn. I think this person can move you into greater visibility. And they may be helping you with something in terms of like branding or something. They feel like something needs a little refinement here, but this is a good asset for you. And this person's really going to help you out to turn things around, move you out of a position of lack here into great fortune. Look at that. Coming in with the 8 energy there. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so that's your big success and win. You got somebody here who knows what they're talking about. They could be a life path 5. They could be a life path 1. Take their communication on board, okay? You might be resistant to hearing what this person has to say, but take their communication on board because they're giving you a clue about something that can actually get you a lot more traction and move you into a better position of visibility, but also earning potential. That's what I feel. Ooh. And then you'll be like the privileged lady, okay? Yeah, it's coming in with the energy of 12. So that makes me think of the 12th house of Pisces. Makes me think of like a blind spot. Something you're not seeing. And this person can see it. And I think it's something that you don't recognize. You don't recognize the value that it has. And because you're not bringing more of this in, this person's like, why aren't you focusing more on this? Like, this is your magic formula. And this is the one thing you're kind of like, you know, it's more on the sidelines and you're letting other stuff be the main event. It's not the best that you have to offer. That's what it feels like, okay? And once you apply what this person says, it lights up what you couldn't see before. You see the ways that you were actually working against yourself by maybe trying to appeal to a certain customer base, or trying to appeal to what you thought everybody wanted, because maybe that's what it seems like gains the most traction, something like this, okay? And it's reworking how you move here. It's reworking how you move, and then you get to experience some privileges of, you know, doing work. I feel that you actually really enjoy, something that absolutely speaks to you, fills you up. It's more fun. It's less stress, a new way of working too. And it moves you into a more privileged position. The 12 breaks down to 3. That's Empress energy, okay? So we know we got an Emperor here, we got Empress here. So this is a dynamic duo, but this person is coming in as an advisor. And yes, they may want to invest in you. Look at that. Empress energy again opens up the road of the Fool, brand new beginnings. There's gifts that come with this. There's a gift that comes in here, and it may require some kind of legal paperwork to be drawn up if this person's going to make financial investment in you. All right. I feel like whatever this is, though, it brings you great fortune, and it also brings you the fortune in really having somebody see what you hold of value and really lighting that up for you. I feel like that's important in this situation too. Cut of the deck. Look, they're gifting you something here. Ooh, comes in with that ring of fire. And it's funny because right here we have a message of concern. So maybe, you know, this person reaches out to you. You write up some kind of proposal, or you give a presentation. You say, this is what I want to do. And you put it out there. You send it off to this person. And you're kind of like waiting to hear back. And you're kind of sitting there pondering, like, what do they think of it? Do they like it? Do they think it's a winning idea? Like, what's going on? And you can't wait to hear from this person. And so you might experience anxiety around that, be on pins and needles. And you're like, I don't know, is it bad news that I haven't heard from them? No, it's good news, okay? I think when you hear from them, you'll recognize that there's something you're being gifted here. And I think this is something that is a big win for you. It's a big success for you. And I do see you signing on for this deal, whatever this is, okay? Let's stick with the Kipper deck here for a moment. Let's look at what unexpected developments are coming your way, Cancer, in 2026. What unexpected developments are coming Cancer's way in 2026, Spirit? What unexpected developments are coming Cancer's way in 2026? Let's get some details about this. What unexpected developments are coming Cancer's way in 2026? First, you got to cross a bridge, okay? Well, I feel like you're stepping into the role of being the main character in your life. We did have main male. We have main female here. There's also a rose here. So there's some kind of indication about you really coming together with somebody that uplifts your life this year. And I think you'll intuitively sense who this is. You're really being guided by your intuition here. You might be taken back when you realize you're the one who receives the rose. It's got like bachelorette vibes, bachelor vibes. Okay. Somebody wants to give you a rose. Okay. It's just for you. They consider you the main character in their storyline. All right. This might take you by surprise. It might take you by surprise where a certain offer comes from. You never thought this person saw you like that, okay? I like it. It's good energy, okay? What other unexpected developments are coming in for Cancer? Okay, so this is unexpected. You may have thought that you would have to go somewhere to settle some legal issue or tend to some legal matter at a distance. Nope, that's going to be taken off the table for you. I think this is going to come as a relief for you. In other cases, you may have been really waiting for something to get resolved on a legal level, something that's been held up. It's felt like it's been a long journey, and finally it's coming to a close. And with this coming to a close, it does allow the sun to come forward in your life. It's allowing you to put something that's been a long, hard road where a lot's been held up, and some of it could have been held up by bureaucratic red tape here, but I do feel like you're getting to the other side of this, and something that for some of you it could even be something as simple as like, I don't want to go to jury duty, you know, and then the next thing you know, the case is taken off the docket. You don't have to go in at all right? It could be something as simple as that, but to me this feels like this is something more enduring of an influence that's been stressful, where you might have been concerned about legal ramifications. You might have been concerned that you were going to get called into court. You might have been concerned that in order to rectify a legal situation, you were going to have to make some trip somewhere and deal with a big hassle. And no, something is being resolved here and it's coming to an end. It also could be because somebody passes in connection to this, and so that changes everything as well. You may have wanted to connect with somebody too before they pass, and there's something about maybe to handle an estate, handle legal matters, and I think something's going to happen where that trip is never going to go down, because it feels like in that situation, you'll know if you're dealing with a situation like that, okay? You'll know because this person's already been dealing with a lot of health challenges, and it's not something unexpected. You may find that they pass before you ever get a chance to go and visit again, and maybe you were really concerned about making sure that certain estate matters were handled and all that. But I feel like with 19 coming in here, for the person who's passing, it's a relief for them. They're finally at peace. So maybe they were dealing with some terminal illness or something, you know. Maybe it's something that's been really hard, not only on them, but the whole family, okay? And this person is now experiencing like a release. But I do feel with the sun here, this does ensure that whatever matter you were concerned about, I do feel like it's being handled, okay? It's being handled, and there's no need to go and take care of legalities. Something's already been handled here. And I think that's something that's quite unexpected as far as you're concerned. You thought maybe there would be more hassle or something you had to take care of here. You may have a trip already planned to go see somebody again. And this might be coming through as a little heads up in that case. If that storyline really speaks to you, that you might want to bump up the day, because this person could be getting ready to transition sooner than you expect, okay? For the person or persons that speaks to, I do feel like it is a sigh of relief, okay? This is something that's been really heavy. Heavy for the one who is dealing with the health challenges. I do feel like they're ready, you know? They're ready to let go. That's how it's coming through. And I think you'll be taken care of as well in that process. I really feel that very strongly. There's no battle. There's nothing to iron out legally. There's nothing to worry about. Like, everything's going to be handled in a very balanced and just way. It feels just, okay? Let's see what good fortune is coming your way. What good fortune is coming into Cancer's life? What good fortune is coming into Cancer's life in 2026? What good fortune is coming into Cancer's life in 2026? Well, you don't see it coming. It's hidden right now. It's that sudden wealth, okay? I think you're worried about this in some cases. You may know that there is something that you're supposed to receive, and for one reason or another, whether it's the result of conflict or blockages or some kind of legal battle, like somebody trying to gain control of assets, something like this. You may suspect that you're going to lose this, but you're not. You've got good fortune and justice on your side in relation to this matter. And I do believe that's something that came out in a recent Cancer read. It might have been the Cancer bonus read I did for you all. Okay. So good fortune coming in for Cancer in 2026. Good fortune coming in for Cancer in 2026. Good fortune coming in for Cancer in 2026, Spirit. Good Look at this. It's this gift. You don't see this yet. I feel like you're in a stress position around this right now. Official person. In reverse. It's coming out in reverse. You're stressed out about this, but what you don't know is you're going to be contacted by an official person. It is coming in with Emperor energy, and this person is going to give you a gift that allows you to really facilitate the activation of your dreams, okay? You don't see this. This isn't here yet. Let's see what's behind this official person. Family room. First, there's something that needs to be completed in relation to a family matter here. But I see you coming into alignment with this. And it's the start of something blooming in your life. Okay? Just give it a little time to develop here, okay? You're not ready to meet up with this person just yet because there's something that's coming to closure that's a family matter that needs to be resolved first. That came in with 1/31/22. Before this new beginning can come through, there has to be something that comes to a state of completion and released. And then you're going to have this alignment come into view, and there's this beautiful gift that comes into your life, okay? And there is something that you're receiving here. I see it very clearly. Let's do a cut of the deck. Unexpected income. All right? From the main male. All right? I mean, it's reiterating the message. So that's your good fortune. But let's see what your power move should be. I want to know what your power move should be. Let's see. I think let's pull out the Goddess Guidance cards in relation to this. I've been noticing like a lot of masculine, feminine, you know, coming through in your read, and just those hermetic principles. So let's see what the feminine energy wants to say about your power move. What is Cancer's power move in 2026? How can Cancer really get aligned with their path of purpose, really get their focus laser locked on the mark that they are meant to hit, and help them to sort of create some boundaries around distractionary influences so they can really drink in all this love and success and investment from others who are in a position to really help further them on their path. How can they really allow this in while getting rid of the stuff that sort of clogs up the channels of creativity and prevents them from really going for their dreams and finding themselves arriving there, because they really feel ready to step into all of that. They have everything they need to step into all that. What is Cancer's power move in 2026? Wow. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. I feel like it's going to come in like that for you, Cancer. It's going to be like at the 11th hour, just when it comes down to that point where it's like the clock's about to strike midnight and all of it is going to come undone. Have faith, okay? Have faith that your prayers have been heard and that they're about to be answered here. So there's something here that is taking up a lot of free rent in your consciousness that can really be resolved by leaning into your faith more. Whatever your faith is, whatever path you walk. Some of you don't have any defined spiritual faith. Some of you may even consider yourselves atheists. And if that's the case, this is having faith in yourself, you know? Having faith in yourself. having faith, to be a self-determined individual, okay? Because you're going to pull something off here, or you're going to receive something here quite unexpectedly that's going to renew your faith in what's possible for you. And perhaps faith in yourself too. And just allow you to trust more as this stretch of the road starts to unfold before you in 2026. Power move. Interesting. First of all, stay focused. Your empowerment comes from really staying anchored in your sense of selfhood, individuation. Diana is a very strong goddess archetype that is all about self-determination, very independent energy, strong energy. Focus on what you want to call in. Focus on what you are creating, what's aligned with your deepest heart's desires and intentions here. Keep that focus unwavering. Keep your thoughts centered on the prize. Keep your feelings and actions aligned with that target that you want to hit, and you'll make your mark. The focus is very important for you. And some of you may have a very strong purpose that involves children in some way, guiding children, working with children. You may have children. You may become a parent. And this is something that is very key on your path. And you might need to bring a more childlike quality into what you do as well. Maybe go back to a time in your consciousness before you did experience the hardships of life, before people did let you down. Get back to that more creative brain space, that place inside of you that can have beginner's mind and that can look at situations and opportunities with a fresh perspective without having any kind of preconceived notions. And some of you may really be called to do work with children, to guide children. You have a great healing capacity. You also have counseling skills and healing abilities. And there may be some way that you're being called to use those abilities in service of children now. And this can also be allowing those abilities and those latent talents that have been held within you since you were a kid that you never felt really empowered in stepping into, perhaps because of people you were surrounded by that just didn't lift you up in that way. I feel like there's somebody obviously that's coming in here that sees what you're working with, and they're breathing life into you, and they're doing it in a very demonstrative way where they're giving you some kind of gift of investment, and they're showing you, I really believe you can do this. I want to see you do this. And maybe that's something that's been missing, and maybe it's also the missing piece that brings a lot of healing to that inner child. But I do feel like this is also about guiding that inner child of yours to remember the things that were the stuff of dreams when you were young, before all those dreams got squashed by the naysayers. And you need to bring a little bit of that back to the forefront. Okay, that's your power move. That is your power move. Let's do a cut of the deck here. See any other pieces that want to come in relation to this. Be strong. Again, Sekhmet. It's about having boundaries. It's about really knowing who you are, the position you hold, and it has everything to do with the challenges that you've already overcome in relation to the past. You're stronger than you think you are, and your strength is what's ensuring the turning of the wheel here and this good fortune that's coming your way and the opening of a new cycle. So be patient with yourself, because you're just starting to come into bloom, and it's a sensitive process as you come out of that space being really tight in the bud and self-contained to unfurling what's been nurtured in the dark and sharing it with others and really showing up in the world in this new space that you've been cultivating during your time alone. Be patient with yourself and be sensitive, because it's a lot to step into, everything that you're opening up to here, and you're just getting started, okay? So be patient with the process, and whatever you do, don't give up. This is something that you are meant to activate this year, okay? Stay focused. All right, spiritual guidance. Let's bring in the archangels to get your spiritual guidance. Oh, come here, archangels. Some of you Cancerians have very eclectic spiritual beliefs. You're very open when it comes to your spirituality. You take a little bit of this, you take a little bit of that, you fuse it all together. I like it. I'm just noticing in your read, I'm feeling drawn to different kind of paths of exploration and getting your guidance. You know, we have the goddess energy coming in, and we have this sort of wise, herbal, you know, rootsy stuff coming in, and then we have the angels coming in. There's a lot of pulling from many different spiritual traditions. And you may be really forming your own philosophy, your own spiritual perspective. And it's yours alone, you know. Let's see. Spiritual guidance coming in for Cancer for 2026. Okay. Bottom of the deck. Eight of Raphael. So yeah, there is something you are releasing here. We've been talking about that in your reading. What you're releasing here is very healing for you, and it's the result of all the healing work that you've been doing as well. And I do feel like there's a little bit of this sort of like effortless flow in relation to this. You've become an expert at letting go. And it may have been something at one point that you had a challenge with, but I do feel this just real softening and kind of allowing receptive quality that is there. It's there. It's within you. You just haven't externalized it yet, but there is an opportunity for that externalization to come, and it is going to be the thing that really opens up the waterway and gets you flowing forward here towards something better waiting for you up ahead around the bend that you can't see right now. So stay centered in what is true for you, and let that be sort of your compass rose that guides you on the path ahead. This year is going to be a spiritual quest for you, okay? So there's a lot that's going to be opening up for you spiritually, and there's a lot of healing coming in. But it's definitely the closing of an old chapter. There's things that you're leaving behind that you no longer want to invest in. You're in the last stages of this, okay? You're currently getting perspective. You're about to come out of this. I do feel like you hung out in a certain position, in a certain connection, in a certain situation, adhering to a particular belief for quite a while. You may have needed to really take a long time to digest something. Hangman energy, but it's starting to come out of reverse, all right? So I think you're about to really gain this perspective. I feel like you had been hanging out somewhere for a long time and really waiting for the perspective to come in that's needed so you'd know the next step. And I do feel like you're in the process of preparing to rise up out of that energy. You're going to discover there's a better way to do something. And you're wrapping up this last little bit of reflection and pause. But the way you're moving forward this year, do not move through this year the way that you did last. Dare to do something different. And if you feel like, well, that's really like out of the box for me, good. That's where the mana is. That's where the mana is, man. Yeah, 7 of Raphael. You will need to make a decision. It is coming up. And when you make this decision, you really need to be clear about what you want. It's got like wishing well energy there, okay? And in order to make this decision, you do need to maybe do a little reflecting around the well of experience that you've gained just through all of this emotional healing work you've been doing. There's also something here clearly that's going to need to be purified from your life. Something does need to be released. I see it. But I feel like where there's been illusion or confusion, that's something you're leaving behind. You're about to move out of this territory. There is a karmic cycle that's closing, and you're about to gain the perspective needed to move forward on your path. Anything else? Look at that. And it opens the road. And look, you're joined by somebody here. See, you're both wizards. You're both hermits. You know, you may be finding somebody you share a lot of similarity with, and there's some kind of beautiful alliance that's hatching here, something that's been orchestrated, And you're heading down a new road of discovery with this particular character here, and it's bringing hope after a particular storm you've been navigating. I do think it's not a year to play it safe. You need to be more bold, more daring, more ambitious in the choices you make for yourself and where you invest your energy. I do feel like where you put in the effort, there's a lot of progress that's available for you. And there's key relationships coming in here with people that share your vision, share your philosophy of life, and they feel like true alliances. And you are going to travel far with these characters. So beautiful things coming in. Look at that. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Yes. So I think you're really going to be celebrating by the time you arrive in the summer. It's got Leo season vibes. Okay. So right around the tail end of July, August, you're going to really see how the fruits of your labors have paid off. I do feel like you start to see all those dreams you seeded coming to bloom at that time. There's some spirit of celebration there. And the way that you can continue to fuel this is just by maintaining a focus on the bright side of life. I mean, there's like a little bit of humor there, a little Monty Python reference there where you have dealt with rough stuff, just but a scratch, okay? You got what it takes to keep going, but just keep the energy elevated, okay? Keep your focus on where you're going, not where you've been. When you do notice the energy gets heavy, use that as like a checkpoint, like, what's infiltrating my space right now? Is that my energy? Is that some, because there was a lot kind of coming in about others being hungry for your energy. Make sure it's your energy. It might not be, okay? And if it's not, do what you need to do to clear that energy out, purify that energy, and get back in your own essence again, okay? Because there's some really inspiring success that's ahead of you. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be surprised, okay? So this is time to really work your magic, activate your strategy, use the shadow to inform you, not to cloak you, not to cover you, okay? See through deception. See through ways that you've been held back, or see where things really don't work for you, and be okay with putting boundaries in place if that's in relation to a particular person or a situation that you no longer feel invested in. Because there's a new challenge coming your way, and there's an exciting opportunity that's opening up for you this year. You absolutely have what it takes to succeed, but make sure that you're being aware that not everybody is as above board as you are. And this is the only cautionary piece that Spirit's really wanting to bring in here. You're very truthful. You're a very honest person. You also are very intuitively guided. You have a deep well of perception that is specifically present because of everything you've integrated, everything you've been through. But you really need to analyze opportunities as they come your way. And don't get overly emotional about it. Really look at it from an analytical standpoint. And where intuitively you feel like something's missing here, something's off, trust that. And where you do have those questions, don't like keep that inside. Just speak really bluntly and directly to it to cut through any haze or confusion. This will be to your benefit. And this especially is coming into play in relation to any kind of contractual agreements, anything you have to sign on the dotted line. Make sure everything feels clear and concise. And you do that, and look at that. Queen of Ariel. This is you really holding that Ace of Pentacles in your hands and seeing all that has grown as a result of it. I love this energy for you. This is you really operating from a point of spiritual, emotional, mental maturity here. It's informed by the wealth of your experience. And you're taking a lot of practical steps right now that initially may feel kind of dry, you know, like, this is not the fun part, like laying down the foundation, but there's something you're really going to build off of this. And you'll find that where you give the effort, life is going to be so generous with you in return. I think you're going to be really happy with this outcome. I mean, this looks like a privileged lady. This looks like you got a lot going for you. And I see more than one rose coming into bloom here. And there's a table that's fit for a feast. There's some kind of celebration here. I see you all decked out. There might be some kind of event, some kind of celebration you're attending here. Okay, so nurture yourself and nurture your dreams and nurture those that you love and allow them to nurture you too. Allow them to pour back into you too. Because what you may not recognize right now or what you may not see at this time is that things are going to be more beautiful than you anticipate currently. And it has everything to do with your belief in how beautiful it can be. And it might take a little bit of a radical demonstration of faith, trust, especially after some of the stuff you've been through. There could be a part of you that's like, oh, I don't want to anticipate that because I've already dealt with so much disappointment. I've seen so much ugliness. But this is where you're getting to the beautiful portion of the story, right? So hang tight. The insight you need is about to come through. And I absolutely love that for you, Cancer. Absolutely love that for you, Cancer. I've known a lot of Cancers that are just real deep, soulful, loving, nurturing, wonderful people. So I like hearing this coming through for you, Cancer. Let's get some numbers of significance for you to cap this off. We got life path 1, life path 3, life path 5, life path 6, life path 4, life path 9. Strong life path 4, where there may be something that needs to be pulled up from beneath the surface, where there's something hidden that needs to be looked at there. First house matters. This is your year of individuation for sure. Even if you are partnering with other people, I see you very much being in your own independent energy, and that's a big lesson you learned in relation to matters of the heart, in terms of love relationships, even in friendships, you know. To not become too enmeshed, to not lose yourself in connection. So I see you really maintaining that. There could be an Aries that is factoring strongly in your situation. There's also kind of Gemini energy there. The Magician, we know there's a lot that's transforming this year. Your words, your thoughts, how you apply your focus holds a lot of power right now. You're quite a conduit, so make sure that you're really holding the energy that you want to see manifest in your reality as a continual focal point. And I think it's more important for you this year to really understand when something else has infiltrated your energy that is not yours, and make sure you're taking steps to really clear that out. Okay, so you might want to develop like a daily practice where you sort of check your energy, balance your energy, bring a little focus to this. Maybe at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, set your intention for the day. Sort of choose the reality tunnel that you're mocking up, that you're going to step through on that day, and choose your focus for the day. And, you know, at the close of the day, same thing. Just make sure you didn't pick up anything while you were out and about and doing your work and interacting with other people that's not yours to hold. There's something really coming in about energetic boundaries to focus on here. There's also Virgo energy coming in here as well. Makes me think of really tying up a lot at the South Node. But not only that, I see you putting a lot of things in place to transform your work, your health, and your day-to-day routine. You're shaking things up. And I feel like where you're making those efforts, there's something that really does transform here. And 8th house matters. We know that you've been integrating a lot of the Plutonian stuff. You gained a lot of wisdom there. There's a lot you've seen there. You imbibed a bit of the poison to arrive at the cure. This could have been in relation to a particular connection that tested your mettle a bit. You're both really strong individuals. I feel like you both have been involved in this. I also see that there is really finally allowing yourself to slip into the empowerment of that work you've done, to move into that energy of the exalted High Priestess here, okay? Where you're trusting your intuition, where you're ready to move it into the light building phase and take action with the Magician here. there's a connection that's coming onto your path. It's very magical. It's like got Magician to High Priestess. So I like this connection coming in for you. And then we have the ninth house, Sagittarius. Okay, so Sagittarian could be a significance as well. There's also this piece here of moving into greater expansion, needing to like chin up, you know, look on the bright side of life. There's reason to. Things are going to be much more optimistic up ahead. And you might have more opportunity to travel. Okay. I also feel like you're really doing a lot of growth spiritually. And it may be because you're really formulating your own kind of philosophy, spiritual view. And I think you'll be really happy about how that comes through. This month is very important for just kind of tying things up. Do really listen to your intuition in regard to what needs to come to a close here. I do feel that it will be affirmed in the positive. It is coming through as being affirmed at Imbolc, so at the start of February with that full moon in Leo. It's lining up with Imbolc there, so that's when the fire breed comes forward. We move out of the time of the crone and move into a time of awen, inspiration, and illumination that enters us into a new creative cycle. And I do feel like that inspiration really comes in for you there, and you're building on that all the way clean through March, okay? And then at that time, you're kind of like pulling your energy back a little bit, and you're just seeing how things go. And I think by the time you arrive at May, it's like this thing is set, it's fixed. I feel like that's very much in relation to your work, okay? It's a change. It feels like a little bit of a gamble, but I feel like it really does pay off for you, okay? So trust yourself in regard to this. And it may be in relation to some kind of spiritual work, metaphysical work you're doing, or some kind of healing work you're doing. It could be work you're doing to help bring healing for children too, or that could play a role just because that energy came in for you before. And let's get some messages from a little Eurasian spirit board action. Ooh, it was 1:56 on the clock. Okay, so you got those one synchronicities coming in for you. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 11, 11. I mean, it's like big magician energy. This is your year of transformation. So let's see what's coming in for you. Right off the bat, I see Georgia. There could be somebody in Georgia that you're connecting with. Georgia on my mind. With that, I got ER, okay? So there could be somebody that works in the medical field here. There could be a Georgia connection there. This could be a person of significance that plays a role in your future. This is interesting, okay? Because I don't usually use this terminology. It's not my my belief system, okay? I just want to state that very clearly, all right? I got TF here, and it made me think twin flame. So there could be somebody here that really is on that journey, and that's what they're invested in. And I do see twin coming through here. It's here, okay? So I'm going to speak to it. It's not my reality tunnel, but it is for some, okay? I could see this too as like a twin spirit, okay? This could be somebody who views you like that, all right? This could be somebody that you share, you know, a really powerful connection with. And there may be that sense, okay? And then I think of twin flame, just kind of bringing in, since I'm reading the energy and I know my relationship with that particular belief. This could be a case too where you've been, you know, in a repetitive karmic cycle with somebody that you've experienced a lot of challenges with. There's been a lot of problems, a lot of repeat cycles of the same old thing over and over and over again. There may have even been times when it was taken to like crisis points, or there was some kind of emergency. There could be some kind of call to action here that's coming from somebody that you feel a really deep soul connection with that's in trouble. Okay? They need your help. They need your support. You either view this person as like, we were born for each other, or they feel that way about you. Okay? So they might call on you for a little assistance, a little support here. Just coming through. This could also be you connecting with somebody that you come together and it just feels like this feels heaven sent. This feels like this was always meant to be. This is the person that I'm meant to open up my heart to now. Maybe you never saw this person on that level. It could be this person's really like shaking up your perspective here. Let me get some names around this, okay, in relation to who this person can be. I got the name Ken. This person may go by Kenny or Kendall. I got Rumi coming through. So yeah, this could be a connection that, you know, this person could have been, you know, somebody that is a very powerful soulmate. You learned a lot journeying with this person. And it might have been more of a like sort of a shadowy influence, but the wound is how the light got through, right? Rumi energy there. This person may be a poet. This person may really love the works of Rumi. Okay. You may share that in common. I mean, this person's name could even be Rumi. It's possible. This person likes to drink rum. I got the name Ty and Caitlin. I got the name Ayana. And I got I with that, like, yes. Somebody is really feeling Ayana, okay? Interesting. Someone is really feeling Ayana there. Oh, interesting. I got the name Enid. Enzo. Okay. This could be somebody who works in tech. There could be somebody here that is bi, you know. They're interested in both genders. I do feel like in this case, there's one chapter coming to an end and there's an opportunity to open up a new chapter. And it's really up to you, you know, what you choose to do in relation to this. We got the name Monique coming in. Ari. It makes me think of Ariana Grande for some reason. So there could be macrocosmic stuff sometimes comes out. So there could be some kind of interesting announcement coming out in relation. I got to a change in partners with that, okay? Let's see. Anything else? Anything else? That's what I got, okay? I mean, it looks like a really beautiful year of transformation. Lots of changes up ahead. I do see a lot of success for you, and you're going to have quite a different view in 2026 than you did in 2025. And something tells me that that's going to be very welcomed for you. So, Godspeed, Cancer.